Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So, we take your sources, we crack them open, pull out the essentials.
Yeah, the bits you really need to get up to speed fast.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into something pretty foundational, actually.
Right, the actual building blocks of everyday English conversation.
Yeah, and we're looking at it through the lens of this resource, this material that's specifically designed to help learners sound, well, natural.
That's right. Our source today is basically a transcript from an English learning program. The title is something like Streaking Real Everyday English Conversations.
Okay.
And it's really built around getting comfortable with the language you use in those, common, maybe seemingly mundane situations we deal with every single day.
Right, the stuff you actually do. So our mission here is to unpack this transcript for you. We want to see, okay, what areas of daily life does it focus on? What specific phrases, what conversational tactics does it keep bringing up? And really try to get a handle on the strategy behind it. How does it aim to build that practical, usable fluency?
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut. You get to see the blueprint for daily English chat, straight from material that's trying to get people speaking like natives. What are those absolute core elements it hits on?
Okay, so let's get into it. The source, it starts right at the beginning, the absolute start of the day.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it jumps straight into morning routines, describing when you wake up, what you do first.
Like simple stuff.
Really simple. Phrases like, I wake up at 7 a.m., or I make coffee, I stretch in the morning, just describing those actions.
And what's striking right away in the transcript isn't just what they're saying, but the how.
The method.
Yeah, this repeated instruction that comes up again and again. Listeners repeat, say it aloud.
So it's active verbal practice from the very first moment.
It's not passive learning at all, it's about doing.
Well, and that immediate push to actually produce the language is, I think, quite fascinating.
The source isn't like waiting until you've mastered complex grammar. It's linking simple actions directly to simple sentences and then just demanding repetition.
It suggests this core idea, doesn't it? That fluency begins with the physical act of speaking.
Yeah, even if it's just basic descriptions of what you yourself are doing.
And then it moves on pretty quickly, right? From the house to getting out.
Commuting, getting to work or school.
Okay, so phrases like...
Things like, I take the metro every day, I usually drive, I leave at 8, I reach by 9.
Really common structures. Subject, verb, destination, or time.
Exactly. And again, the emphasis seems to be on identifying those really high-frequency scenarios and just giving you the most direct language for them.
Right. And it doesn't ignore the everyday problems either, does it?
No, not at all. It brings in things like the bus is late or there's a lot of traffic.
Stuff that actually happens.
Yeah, these aren't just vocabulary lists. They feel like the phrases you genuinely need when things, don't go perfectly smoothly.
Okay, so you've woken up, you've commuted. Then comes food. Lunch.
Sustenance, yes. The source talks about common lunch items, sandwiches, Thai food wraps, juice.
Standard stuff.
But here, the practice method shifts just a little bit.
Yeah.
It introduces basic question and answer.
Ah, okay. How does that look?
Well, the hosts in the source material actually model it. Simple exchanges. Like one says, Jake, ask me about yesterday's lunch.
Okay.
And the other asks, what did you eat yesterday? Followed by a simple answer, maybe I ate a sandwich.
So moving beyond just stating facts about yourself.
Precisely. It's a crucial step, isn't it? Going from describing your day to asking about and responding to someone else's day.
Interaction.
Exactly. And the instruction right after is, now you try that. Practice asking and answering.
So the resource is actively pushing the listener into that interactive mode.
Yeah, using a really common low-stakes topic like what you had for lunch.
Now, here's where I think it gets really, really interesting. They shift gears again, and they start introducing short role-play scenarios.
Right, like actually acting things out.
Pretending to be in a common place, like a coffee shop.
A really simple back and forth. Hi, I'd like a latte and a croissant, please.
And the response coming right up.
Yeah. And this kind of brings up an important point about the source's whole approach, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, how quickly can a learner realistically move from just repeating single sentences to actually participating in even a tiny conversation?
And the source seems to suggest pretty fast.
Almost immediately, yeah. By focusing on these predictable, almost formulaic exchanges you have in everyday places.
Ordering food, shopping.
Right. And the key seems to be providing the full exchange, the back and forth script, not just isolated lines.
Speaking of shopping, the source spends a fair bit of time there, too, with another role play.
Oh yeah, definitely. The focus there is squarely on the practical language you need to actually buy something.
Things like, how much is this? Or, I'm looking for jeans.
Exactly. And I'll take it. Can I try this on? But also, crucially, the interaction from the other side.
The shop assistant.
Yeah, the clerk asking, can I help you? And then the customer stating their need, like, yes, I need a black t-shirt.
It really underlines how much of everyday English is practical, goal-oriented.
Right. It's often not about expressing deep, complex thoughts. It's about successfully doing common tasks, buying something, ordering something.
And the advice that goes with these scenarios is always about simulation.
Yeah, consistently. Practice this as if you were in a real shop. That emphasis is always on simulating the real thing, repeating it for specific outcomes.
Okay, so from those specific transactional scenarios, the source then really opens up, doesn't it? Covers a much wider range.
Oh, dramatically. It starts touching on a huge breadth of other daily topics, moves into personal time.
What do you do for fun?
Exactly. I play guitar, I go for a walk, talking about weekend plans, I'm going hiking, and then turning it into a question. What are your plans?
And it gets more personal as well, covering things like family.
Yeah, definitely. I have 2 siblings. And the question form, do you have siblings? Also, simple ways to express emotion. I feel great. How do you feel?
And preferences, likes and dislikes.
I like pizza, I don't like sushi. The kind of topics that quickly build rapport in real life.
Yeah, fundamental social interaction stuff.
And the source consistently provides these simple patterns.
Yeah.
State your situation, then ask about the other person's.
Then it covers all sorts of practical daily life things, talking
Yeah.
about the weather.
Cooking, do you cook at home? Jobs, what do you do? Exercise, hobbies, even travel. Where have you been? I mean, it's a really comprehensive sweep of common conversational ground.
It really tries to cover a lot.
And what's quite striking is the way it strategically repeats things across different topics.
How do you mean?
Well, they might revisit a theme, like feelings or the weather, maybe later on, but layering in slightly different phrases or question types each time.
Ah, okay, so reinforcing the core stuff.
Exactly. Reinforcing the vocabulary and the structures, but in varied contexts. So it's not just like, here's one single lesson on weather and we're done.
It's weaving it into different conversational patterns.
Precisely.
And they definitely don't shy away from the absolute simplest things either, do they? The most basic but vital conversation starters.
No way. Asking, what time is it? Where are you going?
Or even just confirming identity. What's your name? How old are you?
Yeah, and the source actually labels these things like basic but super useful.
Directly acknowledging that you absolutely need these fundamentals.
Right. They also spend time on expressing simple opinions. I think it's good. It's boring. What do you think?
And giving short answers.
Yeah, yes, I do. No, she isn't. That kind of thing. It's like the conversational glue, isn't it?
Nah.
It allows the interaction to actually flow.
Keeps it moving.
They cover practical needs too, like asking for or giving directions, talking about restaurants, basic tech use, managing your time.
And even simple health things like, I have a headache.
Yeah.
It even seems to get into managing basic social logistics.
Oh, yeah. Handling phone calls. Can you hear me? Please call me later. Discussing entertainment, like movies.
Offering and asking for help.
Dealing with common social situations, like being late or using public transport. Talking about birthdays, invitations, music.
Even mundane tasks like cleaning.
It really does attempt to provide the language for the vast majority of simple interactions and descriptions someone might need day to day.
Covering both your own personal actions and those basic social exchanges.
That's a good way to put it.
And they bring in talking about the past and future too, but in a simple way.
Yeah, mainly through common questions and sentence structures, like, what did you do yesterday? Using the simple past, or will you join us for the future?
So introducing basic verb tenses, but always grounded in a practical context.
Exactly. Not abstract grammar rules first.
And finally, how does the source kind of wrap things up? What's the concluding focus?
It concludes by addressing personal aspirations, talking about goals.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Things like, I want to improve my English, or I want to travel the world, I want to be more confident.
so shifting the focus a bit from describing current reality or immediate needs
To expressing future desires. And he uses that simple but really quite powerful structure, I want to.
which is super versatile, applicable to almost any goal.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, stepping back now, looking at this whole deep dive into the source material, what does it really tell us?
Well, I think first, it just shows how incredibly broad the scope of everyday conversation actually is.
Yeah, I mean, it touches everything from your first action when you wake up to your biggest life dreams.
It really does.
Okay.
And second, the core strategy that's woven through the whole thing is remarkably consistent and clear.
You mean the repetition, practicing aloud?
Yeah, that constant emphasis on active repetition, using specific high-frequency phrases, engaging in those simple Q&A sessions, and simulating real interactions through role play.
It feels much less about learning abstract grammar rules.
And much more about just having the usable language ready for the most common scenarios you'll encounter. It's about doing the conversation.
You can really see the progression the source seems to imply for the learner, can't you?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with describing your own individual actions, things you do along.
Like checking your phone, doing yoga.
Then it moves into handling interactions, like ordering coffee or going shopping.
Right.
And then finally it gets into discussing more personal aspects of life, family, feelings, hobbies, those goals we just talked about.
So there's a clear path from self-description to interaction to more personal expression.
Yeah, that sums it up well.
And I think for you, the listener, this source material really underscores a vital point about learning any language, but maybe especially English.
Which is?
That building real confidence, achieving actual fluency, it seems to rely so heavily on mastering these seemingly simple, mundane conversations first.
They're presented almost as the absolute non-negotiable foundation, aren't they?
Yeah, everything else seems to be built on top of that.
It really makes you think, though. If fluency really is grounded in mastering these everyday exchanges, talking about our routines, our hobbies, how we feel, where we're going, like the ones this source focuses on.
Yeah.
Well, how does consistently practicing that stuff, the small talk about the mundane parts of life, how does that ultimately unlock the ability to then discuss much bigger, maybe more complex ideas?
Right. What doors does getting really comfortable and confident with the simple everyday exchanges? What doors does that actually open up when you need to tackle the challenging abstract conversations later on?
It's an interesting question. What does confidence in the mundane really enable?